Hi, we're Grace and Josh from Shire Marketing Specialists. We're working in partnership with Uncover the Cotswolds, and in this module, we're going to show you how and why you should be carrying out a social media audit. If you're using social media to market your business, you need to understand how to perform a social media audit. Don't be alarmed. A social media audit is nowhere near as scary as it sounds, but it is a critical part of developing or updating an effective social media marketing plan. An audit of your social media accounts helps you understand what's happening on each network. You'll be able to spot, at a glance, what's working and what's not, whether imposter accounts are stealing your fans, which outdated profiles you need to revive, repurpose or shut down, and any new opportunities to grow and engage your audience. In this guide, we're going to explain everything you need to know to conduct an effective audit of your social media channels.
What is a social media audit? Audit sounds like it could be a scary word, but in this case, it doesn't have anything to do with HMRC. Instead, it means simply compiling key information about each of your social media accounts all in one place. A social media audit creates a clear picture of your current social efforts and shows you the best way to improve results. When you're finished, you'll have a single strategy document for all your social channels with key details at your fingertips.
So, how are you going to perform your social media audit? Well, first of all, you need to track down all of your social media accounts. You might think you can list all of your social accounts off the top of your head, but are you sure? Start by recording all of the accounts that you and your team use regularly, but don't assume that covers all of your bases. For example, there might be old profiles created before your company had a social strategy. Maybe these were abandoned at some point.
Where can I find this information? Your first port of call should be to search the web. If you start by Googling your company name or the name of any products you sell to see what social accounts come up. If you find accounts you don't recognise, do some investigating to find out whether they're actually connected to your company. If not, are they fake accounts, fan accounts, or imposter accounts run by someone not affiliated with the brand anymore?
Next, search the social networks. After you've done your Google search, visit each of the main social networks and search directly for your brand or product names to see if you uncover any unexpected accounts. This is also a good time to identify networks where you don't yet have a social presence. You can then start to think about whether you should add them to your next social strategy.
For example, the latest one, are you on TikTok? You don't need to use every single social channel available to you, but you might want to make some notes about potential future ideas and reserve your business username in case you do want to go forward in the future.
Okay, now it's time to make sure that each account is complete and it's on brand. Once you've recorded all of your accounts, take the time to look at each one thoroughly and make sure it's consistent with your current brand image and standards. You'll need to look at each social account individually. Check each of the elements against your brand style guide if you have one, to ensure you're using up-to-date images, hashtags, keywords, and your brand voice. Here are the components to check for each social account.
Profile and cover images. Make sure your images reflect your current branding and adhere to the social network's image size requirements.
Your profile or bio text. So here you have a limited space to work with when creating a social media bio. So it's important to make the most of it. Check that all the fields are completely filled in and completely and accurately with current branding messaging.
Handle. Are you using the same handle across all of your social channels? In general, it's a good idea to do so if you can. Of course, you might need different handles if your accounts serve different purposes, but it's worth taking a look at your handles and making them as easy to find as possible for your customers.
Links. Now, it's really important that you make sure that you're linking to your website. You don't have to link to the same page from all of your social accounts though.
Very true. Verification. This is a simple yes or no question. Is your account verified with a checkmark badge? If not, should it be?
Okay, now it's time to identify your best posts. For each account, record which 3 posts had the most engagement. Then go through these posts and look for patterns. Ask yourself, do you tend to get the most response when you post photos or videos? Do people respond to the same kind of posts on your Facebook page as they do on your Instagram account?
Okay, so an important part of the social media audit is evaluating the performance of each channel, rather than looking at the performance of individual posts. So if you haven't already created a mission statement and a few key goals for each social account, now is the time to do this. Because otherwise it's pretty much impossible to evaluate your performance if you don't know what you're measuring it against. For example, you would not use the same criteria to evaluate the performance of a Twitter account used primarily for customer service and an Instagram account aiming to drive follower engagement. Your mission statement should help you identify the key metrics to evaluate for each social channel. For most brands, website traffic and conversions are good metrics to track here. After all, engagement on your social channel is nice, but real return on investment happens when followers become leads or customers.
It's a good idea to compare your results with the same time period last month or last year. Over time, this will allow you to spot regular seasonal variations, which will also make it easy to spot any unusual changes in real time. And where to find this information? Well, it's the same tools you use to identify your top performing posts. You can look up and compile performance data from every social network you're active on, or use a tool to measure performance across channels from a single dashboard.
Calculating your return on investment. Now, if you're running a specific paid or organic campaign on any social channel, it's a good idea to calculate your ROI for each period as part of your social media audit. Essentially, this measures how much you've spent versus how much it's contributed to the company. Bear in mind that ROI is not all about money. Return on investment can take many forms, so make sure to think about that in your specific goals for your social accounts.
Understanding the audience for each network. As you evaluate how each social account helps support your brand, it's important to understand who you can reach through each channel. Audience demographics are a really good starting point for this. For example, Snapchat users tend to be younger than Facebook users, and LinkedIn users tend to have relatively high incomes. However, it's important to analyse the demographics of your specific following on each social network, as your follower group may not be the same as the overall audience.
Deciding which channels are right for you. So you've gathered enough information now to make some strategic decisions about where you need to focus your marketing efforts when it comes to social media. You need to think about your goals for each account. Then look at how each channel is currently performing along with who you can reach through each platform. Think about ways to tie each account back to your social media marketing strategy. Is there a clear connection? If not, you may want to consider pulling back on certain channels so you can focus your energy and resources on the ones that provide the best ROI. These decisions don't have to be forever. You might decide to focus on Facebook for a while and then pick up Twitter the next time you do an audit. Or maybe it's time to consider some new social channels to replace or supplement ones that no longer perform as well as they once did.
And now, what happens next? You do it all again. Because it's important to say that a social media audit is not just a one-off process. You should conduct regular audits to ensure everything is on track. It'll help you look for changes in the way your accounts are performing. A quarterly social audit is a great way to keep your social accounts producing the best ROI. It also ensures you regularly circle back to compare the work you do day to day with the goals outlined in your social media strategy.
Thank you for watching this module. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you do have any other questions, please email us at info@shiremarketingspecialists.co.uk and we'll be happy to help you out. Bye now.